this would be the comparison video of the specifically the brand LittleForBig pacifier, like the teat and the nipple size, between their old standard like size 6 compared to their newest one they recently released. I'm not sure how long ago it was released, but recently came across their size 8, the teat, like the nipple size for the pacifiers. Because from what I've noticed with them, specifically the difference between the old and the new sizing is because the generation 2 and 3, come with a dust cap, which is pretty much this is what it looks like with the dust cap on. This is what for extra like cleanliness and protection and keeping it clean for more hygiene purposes. But I've noticed this one is designed for the size 6 comparing to the size 8. I don't know if it will fit and work with it. We'll see when we get there. Because this one is the size 6 that's currently on it that came with it. Each one comes with the size 6, and to get the size 8 you have to buy the replacement, which the size 8 that comes in this the box it comes in. That's what it looks like when you open the box. I take a few of them out, you'll be able to see. That's the information on the inside. And this is the replacement of, has 6 in the box. So that's what we're going to be comparing. So I'm going to be comparing the specifications of each one, and the specifications on it are they're made out of food grade silicone, they're BPA and latex free, so if you have like allergies and stuff to that, they would be a lot better for you. And comparing them, because I'm going to be replacing this one with the new one. So when this is how you take it apart to replace it with this, the generation 2. So the back part here, it slips out. You just detach it, the ring. Then the shield part with the nub, it just pulls out like this. Then just carefully pull it off. Then it slips out the front. You get it? And that's how you take it apart. So here's the comparison of the sizes before I put the new one in, because when it's inserted into the pacifier, it's about a 0.4 difference in the non-usable part that's inserted compared to the overall length. And the small one, this is a size 6, has the reinforced sides here and here. And if you look right there, how it looks like there's a little bit more right there compared to the size 8. It has the reinforced sides, but doesn't have that extra part right here is what it looks like compared to this. if you look at the difference in sizing, this size 6, the overall length is 2 inches, width 1.2 inches in width this way, and the new size 8 is 2.5 in length this way, and the width this way is 1.4 inches in the length. So how you put it back together, you take this end, you place it through here, just stick it in there. Then this end, if you look right there, you slip it in there as tight as you can get it. Tight so you can get it on. Give me a second. Let's see if I got it all the way on. And you just push in. Okay, that's on. Then you take the handle, the ring part, put in one hole, carefully slide it so you don't break and put in the other hole. And that's how you reassemble it. Then here's the dust cap. I barely can even get it in. Pretty much have to squish, see if it actually goes in. And it doesn't look like it's compatible with the dust cap with their new sizing. That's one thing I think they can do differently. See if I can actually get it in. If you actually squish it, yeah, it's not compatible with the dust cap. So that's something I think they should do, is have the new, specifically new dust cap for the bigger size so that it will fit and be more compatible, because that's a big thing for me. Is the reason why I got these specific ones, because of the dust cap, to keep it more hygienically clean. And I'm going to compare it with these new ones and their newest pink set that comes in this kind of box compared to their old box style, because this is, size 6 comparison compared to the size 8 inserted. If you look at the difference, that's how much bigger it is, because an overall length this way, it's about 0.4 inch difference when I calculated of non-usable difference. So you can see, and specifically why I decided to choose the try the size 8 compared to the size 6, because over the past year or so I've been using my pacifiers less, because one issue I've been having with the size 6, because the length of it's not long enough, so when I try using it, pulls my upper lip right here, because it has a small gap in between my 2 front teeth. As you can see here, this part right here, it pulls it in to my my teeth, so it causes the underside up there here to become really sore. So that's why I decided to try the size 8 in comparison. I haven't tried them yet, so because I don't know how it's gonna fit in my mouth, and there's no real guides or anything out there on how to measure for what size you actually need for the teat size for the pacifier, because most of them are standard with the size 6, and when people usually talk about the sizing, they compare it to the brand Nook overall when talking about sizing. But my suggestion is actually go and look at every single different brand, because each brand sizing and measurements are slightly different. Even though they say with this brand, the LittleForBig brand, they say theirs only fits in, like their teats, this part right here only fits in theirs. There's some others that say it's all standard, so that's a misconception as a sales tactic. But I just wanted to try their version because it worked, because they seem like it will work better with their pacifiers. So when you specifically look on this, it's the length here along here to here. That's what's not long enough on the size 6. But when you compare that difference with the size 8, how right here is much longer, that's what I'm hoping. So that's what I'm really hoping to have fit. And before you use them, especially the first time, it's recommended, I've heard different things, it's like recommended that some brands say to boil your pacifier the first use, only the first use, boil it for 5 minutes to sterilize it, and after that just put it, like the nipple, like the teat part of it, under extremely hot water from the faucet, and that's all you really need. Because if you use chemicals and other disinfectants on it, it affects the actual longevity, and it can be not as healthy for your body if there's still residue on it. So if you get the water, tap water, hot enough, it disinfects it really well. But for the first use of a pacifier, boil it. So yeah, for 5 minutes. That's what I did with my first 6, and it worked out really well. I'm gonna have to do that with my newest 3. So yeah, so this is gonna be the actual test of using this now, because I never used a size 8 and I don't know how it's gonna feel, because part of why I want to try it is, part of it is like sensory issues, like stemming, because I also have autism. So when I'm regressing little space, it helps with stemming, and I was just trying to find something, and with all the different brands and sizes and shapes out there, what's actually gonna work for the size of my mouth and issues. So let's see if this one actually is long enough, because my concern wasn't with this one, it's fine with the width this way, it's the overall length. So they don't have an in between, they don't have a size 7, only the 8, because with size 8. It's the replacement, like the extra large. It's like a size 8. So let's see if this actually will fit in my mouth and fit better. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention, when you're putting it in, and if it looks twisted, like off twisted when you're putting it in, you can just gently, when this part's removed here, and putting it together through here, you can gently twist it, then push it back in to be tight so it's straight. So when you put it back together, it's more straight, because I just noticed it was off. And with these specific ones, because of the reinforced sides, they tend to not deflate. So with it out inserted, how it deflates more compared to when it's all the way inserted. When you go to press against it, it does not deflate. And that's another thing I like about these ones compared to other ones I've seen, is that part, so it doesn't deflate on you. And if you do want less filled and less firm, all you have to do is, when you're inserting it in here, squish some of the air out, and that can help with not being so full and firm. But I like it to be more like firm and not deflaty, I can say. So with this, I'm going to test it now and see how much comfortable it is against the palate of my mouth through here, the cleft, the palate area, through here, against my teeth, and where it sits on the roof of my mouth compared to my tongue, and all that. How comfortable it may or may not be with the width and the overall length, if it sits right or not, and you can go from there. Even though I have cleaned this, trying to get a piece of cat fur off of it. Let's see if I can get that off very quickly. That's kind of annoying. There, I got it. Sorry about that. There's a piece of cat fur on it, which is annoying. So let's now test our overall. After testing that compared to this one, sorry about that, perfect. It fits perfect. It fills up my whole mouth the way the pacifier is supposed to. It's not, because the way it fills, it's the right length. It's not too short like this one, the size 6, how short this one is compared to the size 8. It's long enough, and the width from here to here on the inner part of the jaw, on the upper part, it fills up that whole area in the roof of the mouth without being too long or too short. And one of the issues I do have is a really strong gag reflex. If certain things get too, like at the dentist for instance, if it gets in certain spots, it causes a gag reflex. And this doesn't do that. From that short test. Let's do a second test and see. Yeah, it covers everywhere. And it's not too long where it causes issues. And it's, I could say, the width of it could be a little bit less, for my mouth specifically. But if your mouth is a little bit bigger, then that could be fine. So, my overall first impressions of it, the length is good compared to how short this is in comparison. Yeah, the length is really good. The width can be a little bit less, but overall it fits better overall, except I really wish the dust cap would work on it. That's my biggest concern, is not being able to use this with this. That's the only con I have with this size 8, is the dust cap does not work. Because remember, you see, it doesn't really go in unless you squish it, and still if you squish it, it does not keep it on. It pops off. So that's my number one con with it. The rest of it is good. So this is the overall review. This size 6. The size 6 Teat compared to the size 8 Teat on the LittleForBig brand. Look at that one last time. It's the bottom. Here's the upper part, what it looks like. Side view. If you look, the side view of them. Yeah, that's on the clear, the size difference. And they also come in, there's 2 different ones that comes in. There's the regular clear, which I'll link, and the candy gloss, which is the colored ones, the 6 different colors, from the clear to like green, red, blue, black, and all those colors. I think purple's one of them. So if you want to actually try them, I'll link below where I got mine and to the actual website. So until my next review video or video in general, this was the comparison from size 6 versus the size 8 Teat of the LittleForBig brand of Teats. So when you go by this video, it's specific sizing. So when you go by other brands, make sure you check the sizing, because it's not going to be the same. So make sure you check that out and see what may or may not work for you. And this was just a comparison. Don't take this as like health advice or anything. That's, other people's videos have done really well videos on that, like the health benefits, of using pacifiers. This one's just the comparison of the different sizes in this brand. So until then, if you can just comment, rate, or subscribe, it would be appreciated. And until then, bye.